still not letting me.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, weird. It said we were being recorded.
Yeah, I'm recording
Did
it
you
on my
just start
machine,
a-
Ben.
So we're good.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So this has
All
been
right.
such a clusterfuck. Let me just paint the scene for everyone. All right, so this has been a very convoluted process. We haven't been the most consistent recording shows this summer. It's everybody's schedules, vacations. Max is going off to college in a week, and we haven't even addressed it. And for like the second time in 3 weeks, Ben pulls out, I got to cancel because I got a rash. So Ben is recording from his home about 5 miles away from Max's home, where I am in the basement on a laptop, and he is up in his childhood bedroom on a separate laptop, all within a 5-mile radius, to talk about a movie
And
we
still
saw a
got
month ago.
incredible lag going on.
So much lag. To talk about a movie we watched a month ago. So
Yeah, what'd you guys think of Nope?
I really liked it. I thought it was great, man. I have kind of a confession to make, though, before we get too far.
Okay.
Not to throw you under the bus again, Ben, but sometimes you can feel like a Ben Kelly bail coming a little bit. And I thought you were going to bail on going to see Nope. So I photoshopped 100% Rotten Tomatoes score onto that image that I sent you.
Nuh-uh. Did you? I told Haley, I was like, I'm going to go see this movie. It's got a 100%. It's going to be awesome. You bailed on the last podcast. I don't even know why you say I bailed the last 2 times.
I bailed after you said I have a rash. Can we Zoom? And I said, oh, okay. We'll just wait till your rash goes away. I didn't know it was going to be a 3-week rash.
That's true. It's going on a 4-week rash now.
That's
Dude.
concerning.
Yeah. But again, no insurance. So I ain't going to go figure out what's going on.
That's a tough spot.
Yep.
Chance it. So what do you think?
I fucking love it. I'm so scared to talk over anybody.
That's the negative.
It's gonna
of Zoom.
happen.
Yeah.
I loved it. I thought it was awesome. Even besides like the meaning of the movie itself, I just felt like the tone was so unique. It didn't have to do a whole lot for me to be super interested and have my eyes peeled like the whole fucking time. It made me 100% curious at all times.
Yeah. You guys said that guy from The Boys had really good mouth work. I thought Daniel Kaluuya had really good eye work in this. Like he made really big expressions just by like looking freaked out of his mind with really big wide eyes or like really uncomfortable moments.
Yeah, he's great. He's really good. It's funny, like seeing images of Get Out, like how much younger he looks. I feel like it hasn't been that long, but
Yeah, I hadn't realized it either, I guess. It's only Peele's, 3rd movie, but he's got so many producing credits and stuff, you kind of lose track.
I
It's
just
like
can't believe that I didn't even look up the score myself to see that 100% was Photoshopped. I just took your fucking word for it. And I looked after and I was like, wow, that dropped real fast, huh?
You told me. All you need is a computer to tell you it's good. So I was like, I'll just beat him to it.
Yep.
Did you get around to seeing Us, Ben?
Nope.
I thought this was a little better. Us had a really good meaning, but like the surface level wasn't as enticing, like the horror elements. Whereas this, I felt like really hit on all cylinders, really had a cool message. And it wasn't like as over the top where like you can kind of take away a lot of different meanings from it. It's not just black and white. This is what the movie's about.
Once I knew the meaning of it, it made it even better. Like I didn't know what the fuck the movie was supposed to be about. It's such a subtle metaphor. Like the movie's its own thing. And if you look like deep into it and figure out what it's really about, I just think they did such a good job at making it so interesting and having that cool of a meaning.
It's really unique, just the way you experience his movies, because there's so much to take in. There's so much to unpack with all the like Easter eggs about like actual historical events and like social commentary. But then also there's a fucking spaceship raining blood on a house in the middle of everything. Like it's just sensory overload. It's crazy. I love it.
Yeah. Max, what do you think, dude?
This one definitely had the most going on. There were a lot of different themes going on in it, besides the ones that Ryan pointed out the other day when we were talking kind of about like the trauma of child actors, the stuff that people in Hollywood put themselves through. But I'm looking forward to rewatching it because I feel like there's a lot of stuff going on and a lot to dig into. I think he's on a very cool trajectory of each movie I think has gotten more ambiguous, more like you can read Us in different ways. You can read all of them in different ways, but Yeah, this one to me just felt like it had a lot of like smaller themes that he was working with in the in-between parts of the movie. And I mean, you think about like the guy that's like so dedicated to getting the perfect shot that he like
Dies
gets
for it.
killed, which again is like part of the whole commitment to your work in Hollywood and everything like that. But yeah, I feel like there's more there that I just want to take another look at. I feel like aesthetically, this movie, it was just so my shit. Like more so than anything Jordan Peele has done. And I love all of his movies, but the scene of Steven Yeun doing his thing, like doing his show, and there's the former cast member that he just kind of like alludes to in this very subtle way, and she's like veiled, but you kind of see her face under there, and she's,
Yep.
I mean, somewhat ghoulish looking.
Yep.
And you're just kind of putting it together like, oh fuck, that's that girl survived, like that young child actor, his co-star in that stupid show, like survived. And I think they cut from that. The scene before him getting prepping for his show is like another closer look at things going wrong at the what's the fucking
Oh, the Jupes. What is it? Jupiter something.
Jupiter?
No. Or
Yeah,
that's the
no.
ranch. That's the ranch's name.
Yeah, isn't that what you were looking for?
The
No, I
monkey's
was
name.
thinking-
Oh,
yeah,
Gordy.
Yep.
Gordy, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the scene with Gordy like really freaking out comes right before that, and then they cut to him just kind of staring off, which I thought was so good. How, and they do that the first time with that character too, where like you see his trauma just like right under the surface, but he's just talking about Chris Kattan instead. It's so strange.
The Gordy thing I love so much. Like, it's just to have that
Mhm.
whole metaphor of like these balloons popping under the heat of like set lights and this unnatural pressure, and then this animal accident going on, and then like you have
Yeah.
almost like the opposite of the ET finger touch moment with the fist bump. I don't know. I just love
Yeah.
that so much. I thought that resonated really well. It was a really cool encapsulation, and then the way that Steven Yeun processes it all and completely like fixates on the wrong part of the story and is only concerned with like the fame it brought him and the
Mhm.
notoriety and fucking Mad Magazine and
Right.
Chris Kattan. I thought that was genius. Like, just the whole encapsulation of like people's almost predatory nature of like spectacle and consuming entertainment.
From what I'd like been reading of other critics and stuff, it seemed like a lot of people just didn't know what to make of the Gordy thing. It seemed like it was either you thought it was great. Some people were going as far as saying like this was better than the A plot.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, I might as well. But then there were some people that thought it was so ill-placed and just didn't understand the purpose of it and thought it clashed with the story of OJ and Emerald, which, yeah, I do think is kind of a messier arc. And I think it's a little ambiguous at the end. I keep using that word too much, but like at the end when he shows up and she sees him through the smoke, it's kind of like
You think he's
you're
dead?
not really sure. I kind of thought he probably was. I think it probably works a bit better if he is. I think things usually work better when there's a sacrifice of some kind that's been made.
Did he have a reason he needed to sacrifice himself though?
Well, it just seems like it was being set up like only one of them was able to get away. At least the way the action was being telegraphed. It just seemed like what he was doing was so that she could get away. And I guess I just feel like it undercuts it if it's like, surprise, it didn't come after me. Like it didn't get me either.
Well, shit, it was coming
Like
after
what
him.
was it doing? Because otherwise, what are the stakes?
I
There
kind of
are
took
none.
it as like, hang on, we've got like 3 minutes left. I'm going to stop and restart. Okay.
So where were we?
I don't know.
This is gonna be
Hang
weird
on.
to edit, Max.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we've also got to stitch together all these Zoom meetings.
I'm
Poor
looking
guy.
forward to it. This is the type of practice I need for my audio arts degree. So,
Yeah, you're welcome.
yeah.
But yeah,
Honestly, I would have rather just came at this point
yeah. Why didn't you?
because I fucking hurt, dude. Like, I'm just uncomfortable. Like, I don't feel good. I don't know. I still want to go anywhere. I thought we could do a simple fucking Zoom. Like, I didn't think it'd be like this big of a shit show.
Yeah.
We're getting there. We got it.
It was good. I enjoyed it. I would say slightly less than Get Out, but more than Us.
That's your guys' rankings right now. Get Out is the top.
Yeah, I think Get Out had a little more of the horror element, where Nope was more of like the mystery, I guess. I guess that's just kind of my personal taste.
I think Us is up top for me.
Yeah,
I like that one more than most people.
I love the message of it, but every time I
Yeah.
see Tim Heidecker run around grunting, it loses me.
Yeah, he's not a great part of it.
I
But
love
then you've
Tim
got-
Heidecker, but
No, I love him too. Yeah, I just like what's her name? Who's the handmaiden?
oh, Elizabeth
The
Moss.
Invisible Man. Yeah, dude. Her performance is so good. And so
Yeah.
that kind of makes up for like the kind of silliness of Tim Heidecker's, where it's almost like it feels like you're back in one of his shows or something.
Dude, he's in Us.
Yeah.
What the fuck? I've got to watch it
Like,
now.
I just think about that concept so much. What I see is like the main metaphor of the movie, which is that like there's always someone that has less because of what you have. Like there's a finite amount of resources in the world, and you're always kind of taking from someone, whether you do it intentionally or not. I just think that's so interesting, and it's something I think about all the time, and that movie just crystallized that idea for me.
That's an awful thing to think about.
Yeah, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, because it's like, I don't know. I don't like thinking about that.
Jordan Peele always says we're the monsters in his horror movies. That's why it's called Us.
I need to watch it for sure.
It's good. I think I'm just picky about some of the aesthetic choices with Us. Like, I don't know, the voices and stuff like that. But like you said, it's something that it resonates. The themes are really strong. And yeah, you definitely leave thinking about it. The whole Hands Across America reference at the end really drives it home.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So good. It's perfect. At this point, I prefer kind of a messy movie that's trying stuff that I haven't really seen as much.
Yeah. Well, and like kind of alluded to earlier, it's just a whole different experience. I saw right after it came out, a lot of people were already claiming he's one of the best horror directors of all time. Do you think he's already there?
If you're going to put him against the classic,
who are we putting up there?
I just think it's too early. Like 3 movies, we probably would have said the same thing about M. Night Shyamalan with Signs, right?
A lot of people are comparing him to M. Night at this point. I think it's only happening because this movie reminds people of Signs.
It needs its own genre, though, dude. I think it's unfair to even call him like a horror director because it's its own thing. Jordan Peele's film, it needs to be a subgenre within a subgenre because it's so unique.
I don't know. Couldn't you say that about a lot of horror directors at this point?
A little
Maybe.
bit, yeah. Ari Aster, Robert Eggers. There's the whole like breed of new guys. But yeah, I mean, all time, you got Hitchcock, you got John Carpenter, you got George Romero, Wes Craven. I mean, those dudes did a lot of stuff. I don't know that I would throw Jordan Peele up there just yet.
A lot of people will put like these big ideas on like enlightenment. Maybe we should rethink our social constructs. But do you think any of these people are actually doing anything about that at all?
I think they are by making the art.
Yeah, it brings
But, like,
awareness, I think.
Like you can bring awareness all you want, but like action means way more than words. Like I think we're all aware.
I don't know if we are though. I think a lot of the reason we're aware is because of art. If I think about like my impressions of people, other walks of life that I didn't know very well, like when I was younger, some of that was like driven by like what I saw in movies and shows and stuff. And I would say the 90s did a pretty poor job of teaching me about other cultures and shit. And I think that nowadays media does a better job generally, because if you don't, people are kind of like, what the fuck is this? I get what you're saying, but yeah, no, I think art is very important in that way. I think it's more important than what a lot of people realize.
Well, and it helps too if you have like an informed, fresh perspective on things.
The thing
Max,
I'll say
what do you
about Jordan Peele real quick is just that like I think that at the time that I saw his 3 movies, I hadn't given like a lot of thought to the ideas that they were presenting. So like at least for me personally, he's done a good job of bringing awareness to Max Allen. I like his stuff a lot. I like his messages too.
Did you see that Warner Brothers investigated how many of the accounts for the Snyder Cut movement were fake?
Yeah, did
What?
see that.
Yes, they did a full-fledged investigation to see how many bot accounts were fueling the release the Snyder Cut movement on Twitter. It was only 15%. I thought that was really low.
Oh, that is low.
Yeah,
Come
I was
on.
expecting
That's a
like
lot.
15, 1-5.
That's a chunk, man. We're
I
just
was-
cool with that. We're cool with 50% of something just being fake.
Yeah, I'm not cool with it. I'm just stunned that there's 85% genuine Snyder Cut fans. Like that's baffling to me.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
Allegedly, over half the Twitter users are bots.
Are you serious?
Dead serious, yeah.
They don't have any hard statistics on that though. Like that's what Elon Musk is pressing them on, and they can't prove that.
I don't know. There's like a whole case between him and Twitter right now, isn't there?
I think so, yeah. He's like, I'm not gonna approve the deal if you can't prove how many active users you actually have on your platform. And they can't.
Yeah. It's just weird.
It's gonna be real weird if like we went through the whole Snyder Cut thing, and now because of this weird Discovery Warner merger, we're gonna get a 4-hour Justice League movie, and we're never gonna see this Batwoman movie that just got canceled out of nowhere. Allegedly, the directors tried to like log in, and the movie was wiped from the Warner server. Wherever they had it, it's gone.
Oh no.
Oh my
No
gosh.
way.
$90 million movie completely shelved.
Can you guys speak to like why they did that? Because I'm still not 100% sure why.
The initial explanation was that they're basically using like a tax loophole. So if they just write it down as a loss and never release the movie, then they can write off the entire cost of the production, but they can never release it. But there was also a lot of reports that the test screenings for the movie were like historically bad. And then like a couple days after the tax write-off explanation, the new head of Warner, this David Zaslav guy, basically came out and was like, yeah, we're not going to put out any products that we don't want to stand behind. We're going to focus on quality control at DC. And so it seems like a little of both. I don't know. I didn't realize Discovery had that much pull. Like I figured Warner was going to be like just engulfing Discovery Channel and HGTV. I didn't know it was going to be this seismic shift in the whole Warner foundation.
I really
it
hope
seems like it's actually pretty terrible for Warner Brothers for the most part, and like HBO Max, other stuff just seems like it's getting just a complete overhaul, not in a good way.
Yeah, they're going to completely relaunch platform like a year in again.
Right. And the show that's on there right now is basically on the chopping block for potentially, like, there's no telling what things are going to look like after this.
Yeah, I saw they halted all original production with TBS and TNT. So like the Snowpiercer show is done.
What the fuck? That was a good show.
Yeah, it's real strange. They spent 30 million on a Game of Thrones pilot that never aired because they went with House of the Dragon instead. Like, just seems real reckless over there. And it's kind of weird that like I think this month was the first recorded month where viewing audiences were higher on streaming platforms than on cable. And yet Warner's turning to this cable television network guy who does like TLC and all this stuff to try and fix Warner Brothers.
Yeah, I don't get it.
It seems ass backwards.
Like, I was excited about their stuff as far as like streaming and stuff. Like I'm on HBO Max more than anything else. There's a lot of good stuff on there. There's a lot of good original content.
The interface sucks though, dude.
It's gotten a lot better. Yeah, it's been real sloppy, and I mean, they've already had to rebrand once, and I just feel like rebranding again is such a dumb idea.
Yeah,
especially under Discovery. Like when you think of Discovery, you think of
fish,
reality stuff,
cheap home remodel shows. Yeah.
Right.
Discovery?
Yeah. So Discovery owns the Food Network,
point,
HGTV, TLC, Animal Planet, Travel, and the
Oprah
Winfrey.
I just think of Animal Planet, but I haven't had fucking cable and like,
yeah, it's been a while, dude. It's been a while since that was like the flagship.
Yeah, but I mean, still,
I miss those days.
You're gonna take the cable model and try and like revamp HBO Max, which, like you said, I think HBO and FX are kind of like the best batting percentage of any of the networks right now as far as putting out original content.
Yeah, there's got to be a reason. Like these guys are supposed to be fucking smart, right? That run these companies, like they're supposed to be smart.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think that's an assumption a lot of people make, and I think
they're just like pretty good at making money for themselves, and then it's not a situation where they're not willing to ruin a company to get a cool car and then just like dip out.
Yeah.
What a fucking way to put it. It's like true though, but I mean, fucked up.
Yeah, take a look at the video game industry and all the jackasses that run those companies. It's super impressive how
Really?
fucking terrible they are at it.
And there's no accountability with leadership. They take all the
So-
credit and none of the blame. Like Netflix's
Right.
issues are that people share passwords, not that they pay Dave Chappelle whatever he wants to come out of hiding. Like,
The CEO of Netflix is doing a good job though, right? He's not doing a bad job.
I mean, he's overpaying for a lot of stuff, man. It feels like, yeah, he's just throwing money like, hey, Gilmore Girls is popular. You guys want to do another season? No? What if I pay you this much? Okay, let's do it. It was just funny that he said, like, we're going to spend less on vanity projects when it feels like that was like an orchestrated strategy for a while to just throw money at big names. Like, how can we get David Fincher's next movie? How can we get Martin Scorsese? And now they're like, well, that's the reason we don't make any money because these guys are costing us so much. They did The Irishman. They did Mank.
Oh, yes, yes.
What was that? The Gray Man with the Russo brothers this summer was like a $200 million action movie.
That was 200 mil.
Allegedly, yeah.
If you're spending 200 mil, are you getting 200 million in new subscribers to go watch Gray Man? Because I fucking doubt it.
And well, and most of these companies still say they're like operating in the red. Like Disney Plus hasn't made a profit because of all the resources they've dumped into it. They're just Disney and they can eat
Doesn't
a
even make
loss.
sense.
But like if you're producing, 4 Star Wars shows and 6 Marvel shows at once, that's a lot of fucking resources and time and money.
Disney and Apple can handle it way more. Like the
Yeah.
Netflix thing, like I don't know enough about this stuff, but it almost seems like they just ran themselves the fucking ground.
It's
But
unsustainable.
I don't know. That might just be proof that, like, I don't know if Disney and
Well-
Apple are able to like keep up that kind of insane cost. Maybe they can do it because they have revenue from so many other streams. But yeah, I don't know what the future of streaming is at this point. It kind of seems like it could be something where none of these companies are really able to own that much of this stuff. But I don't know.
It feels like it's just going to be like we subscribe to like 6 different cable packages. Like you can get the Warner package where you get all the TLC shows and HBO, or you can get the Disney package where you get Hulu and Marvel and all that shit. Like it's just going to turn into more conglomerates. That's the only way
Dude,
they're
I
going
said
to.
this for a while. It's going to be like cable, but streaming cable.
Well, and there's a lot of services now, like Tubi comes like programmed on your smart TV, and you can watch. They have a huge library of TV shows and movies you can watch for free. You just have to watch ads. Like it's just going to be a matter of time before ads infiltrate all this stuff, and we're back to watching TV how we used to.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Are you guys at your saturation point? Like, how many services are you subscribing to right now where you're just like, nope, I can't do another one?
I got my friend's YouTube TV login. That's pretty sick. I have your Peacock login.
How many
My
do you pay for?
That's
Give me
cable
that.
for TNT. Oh, Netflix, AMC, Hulu, and Disney Plus bundle thing, and HBO Max. What's that, like 5?
I have 4 or 5. Yeah, so that's like $50 a month. That's direct TV right there, isn't it?
Yeah, and Apple actually, so I could watch Ted Lasso. I probably
And
need to
Apple.
cancel.
Do you guys find yourselves more reluctant to pay for music just because that like toothpaste is already out of the tube?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Probably.
I'll at least listen to it for free on Spotify, and then I'll maybe pay for it on Bandcamp. But yeah, I'm way more likely to pay for video than audio.
Have you been listening to anything good lately?
Yeah, actually, I've never listened to a full Beyonce record. I listened to the new Beyonce. It was great. I loved it.
Awesome.
Did you guys check that out?
No, I probably never will.
It's strange, man. Like I've always thought of her as kind of like, basic pop star girl, but like it's really experimental and weird and like just flamboyantly experimental, like in a way that reminds me of Prince almost, especially because she's real horny on this record. It's also weird
Jay-Z
because
needs
like
to fix that.
it's also weird because it definitely feels way better as an album. Like I heard the single Break My Soul on the radio and I was like, I don't want to finish this song. But like when I heard it on the record, in the context of everything, it was way better.
Yeah.
Does she write her own shit?
No, she has a fuck ton of writers. I mean, she writes on her stuff, but she's not the only one.
See, like, what lens do you look through to really appreciate that? Because, like, you're hyping up this, like, unique record, and for all we know, she's just, like, the singer, the performer.
Right. Yeah. I think I obviously have a little more admiration for somebody who can take on the whole gamut of the creative process. But I think there's still something to be said as like a curator for a whole record. Like there's a very cohesive sound and style she's going with on this album. And it's like taking some really bold and like brave chances where like a lot of her contemporaries like don't even seem to really even bother with music anymore. Like Rihanna and Justin Timberlake, like they just want to be in bad movies and sell cologne, where she's like actually pushing the art form a little bit, which definitely respect.
Would you say it's almost the equivalent of like an actor in a movie? You know, like their shit's written for them and they just got to like do it the best they can.
A little bit. It's a little different, but it's almost like members of a band. Like they're really good instrumentalists, but they don't necessarily write the whole song. You know what I mean? They're contributing to the process of making their stuff and like putting their spin on it, but they may not be the origin point of everything, I guess.
I gotcha. That's a good way to put it. Max, what do you think?
I might look at it a little different. Ryan mentioned like curating producers or whatever. Like it made me think of Kendrick because I think he's incredible at that. And from reading some interviews and stuff with people that have worked with him, he may not have written music, but it was definitely changed to fit ideas that he had. And like, I don't know, maybe that's how Beyonce is too. I think I have like a little more admiration for someone in that category that's like really getting in there like that. And also, you mentioned someone that can just like run the gambit, do it all. Speaking of which, that Jack White album that came out, I don't know how much of that was just all him, but I get the impression that he was pretty hands-on with a lot of that. Like it even mentions mastering took place at his studio. I don't know if he's like in there mastering his own shit, but if he is, like I think that's really cool as someone who's into like producing and that side of things. But speaking of that album,
so he recorded 2 albums worth of material with Fear of the Dawn, which Jack White came out like April or May.
Damn, he's been at it, man.
That first one was kind of weird and experimental, and this new one, Entering Heaven Alive, is a little more ballady. Did you get around to that one?
Yeah, that's the one I was listening to very recently, and noticed all of the like work that he had done on it himself. I thought that was really cool, and or I guess both of them he took kind of like a more of a DIY process on, and I liked Fear of the Dawn. I thought that was really cool. But I like this a lot more. As someone that hasn't listened to a lot of Jack White, I'm definitely going to come back to this Entering Heaven Live album and give it some more time, which surprised me because I'm not into acoustic guitar. I think it's a stupid instrument. I'm not really into like folksy music, and I feel like acoustic guitar just immediately drags things towards that genre. But every other instrument he uses being like my fucking favorite shit. Like there's just there's so many good textures on the album. Like I don't know, I think there's some electric pianos on there. I heard some mellotron, some nice like Beatles mellotron. It's just an excellent curation of like pleasant sounding instruments and like just well written music, and not just in the sense that it like, oh, this is a good song that I've heard 1,000 times. Like there's some truly unique melodies and stuff going on, but I'm really enjoying it. I'm looking forward to spending some more time with that. What'd you think of it, Ryan?
So like I mentioned earlier when we talked about Fear of the Dawn, I was a big White Stripes fan and none of his solo stuff really clicked with me, but like Entering Heaven Alive is definitely the best stuff he's done since the White Stripes broke up. Like it definitely has that feeling. It's the closest to that vibe. And like when I heard him announce that, hey, I wrote 2 records worth of material and one of them's just fully ballads, I kind of cringed a little like you. But I definitely prefer this to Fear of the Dawn, which seems to be the minority opinion. But I think the songs are a lot more polished. It's a lot more focused. It's this weird thing where you kind of realize like these people just aren't like mastermind geniuses like we like to build them up to sometimes. Like Kendrick alluded to on his record, that whole like, I'm not your savior. Like I'm just another dude. And like these people are kind of the sum of their parts. I feel like maybe now that he's like in a new relationship and just got like engaged as he kicked off this tour, like you can tell like he's very impassioned and like it sounds different than like the last 3 records he put out. And it's just kind of weird, like to realize the full humanity of the person, like come back and see this inspiration in somebody that it was really cool. It was cool to like reconnect with like almost somebody finding their fire again almost.
Dang, that's tight. See, I just didn't have that perspective from not being that, or I don't know much about White Stripes.
Their early stuff has a lot of that kind of like you said, a little simplistic, like Beatles style where he adds in, the keys or like that organ sound. But yeah, like you said, his instrumentation has gotten so refined where like it started out almost kind of like garage rocky, like the Hives or the Strokes. And now it's just so crisp and so well performed. Like, I really dug it. I was surprised.
Ben, did you get any time with it?
Nope.
Shoot.
I know you're a big Black Midi fan. Did you get around to their new record, Max?
Yeah, I'm not as high on that one, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think partially like the slow rollout of the album. It's like they put out everything as a single first, and then they were just like, surprise, every single makes the full album when you put them together.
Right.
It's like, wow, okay. So I've heard all these before. And yeah, none of them really like, I don't know. There's a lot of cool ideas in their songs. There always are, but I don't feel like there was enough consistency with those ideas to really like put together a song that I want to sit and just like listen to. So I'd say it's more of a whole album experience. But even as that, it's like look at what I'm singing, look at what I'm saying versus like look at what I'm playing, I guess. I don't know. I'm making up these terms right now. I'd much more like to just hear what they're doing with their hands as opposed to like the weird vocalist doing his bullshit. Because like another thing I've realized about this band is I like it better when I think it's the bassist that sings sometimes.
Yeah.
And he's not doing like the weird goofy fake accent bullshit, and I like that a lot better. I like the songs that guy sings, and I don't really like the lead singer, I've realized. And I just feel like he's in full force on this album, where it's just like, look at my weird shit, and I don't want to. So
Yeah, it's
I don't know.
it's kind of like emphasizing the wrong aspects of the band for me. I started to see him going this way a little bit on the last record, whereas what was the first record? Schlagenheim? Like that one's just so chaotic and fun, and like the more it slows down and like you can kind of see like the strings and the orchestration of everything, it's not as fun. Like I just want the unexpected,
Right.
just 100 miles an hour stuff.
Yeah, and my friend texted me. I don't think he had listened to too much Black Midi, and he was like, dude, it's like jazz fusion speed metal. Like, you're going to love it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah, Black Midi. Like, yeah, I am going to love this. And then, checked it out. And like, yeah, when it's doing that, when it's being jazz speed metal, I do love it. And there is a bit of that. There's just not enough.
Yeah.
I think sometimes that happens out of a lack of confidence. Like, bands get too busy and just feel the need to do too much. I think they're enjoying, like, it sounds like a confident album,
Yeah.
I think they always sound confident in what they write, which is really cool. But it just, this one just didn't do it for me.
So
they
you
are
guys-
slowing down a bit. You're right. And maybe that's us just coming from the punk background where it's like, don't you dare fucking stop playing fast music.
That's how Manchester Orchestra was one of my favorite bands, and their like last 2 or 3 albums have just been like slow, and like I don't even give it the fucking time of day. It's super unfair of me too. I don't know if it's like a short attention span thing or what, man, but I don't know how to explain it. I just hate slow shit.
I wouldn't even like single out the tempo because like we just said, like I prefer that slow Jack White album to the fast one that came out 2-3 months before it. I think just certain styles, like especially like the whole post-punk thing that they're a part of, like there's not a lot to it when you really strip it down. And especially like you said, if you don't care for the vocalist, that really puts a hindrance on your enjoyment.
Yeah, no, I think that's definitely driven by genre, and certain bands can get away with it when certain bands can't. I mean, there's bands that like, I like their slow stuff better than their fast stuff. It just depends on the style that they're playing. And I think you're absolutely right. Like Black Midi, I think just sounds better when it's faster. Maybe I should just like speed up.
Listen to it all in a time and a half. We haven't done a show in like a month. There's been a bunch of shows. Have you guys been watching anything? The Old Man, Westworld, Better Call Saul, House of the Dragon.
Better Call Saul, finished that.
Yeah.
Fuck was the other one? I started watching New Westworld.
Yeah.
By New Westworld, I mean season 3.
Yeah, that's right. Ben was trying to tell me about the new season of Westworld. Well, it turns out he's a season behind.
Max is like,
great.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
There's a show, actually, it's like a teeny bop show, but it's called Never Have I Ever.
Dude, that show's awesome.
That show is fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah.
That show rules. Like, it's funny.
Yeah.
It's super
great.
funny.
What
How
is
did
it?
you watch it, Max?
I've always been on that show. I don't know.
No way.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I love that show. Yeah.
Explain
It's-
the premise. What happens? If I had to guess
Agreed.
from the name, I would say it's like a reality contest hosted by like Rob Dyrdek, and they all like one by one. Oh, you did that? What?
No,
No,
I
it's
don't
not
really
that at
know what
all.
to compare it to, but it's just a fun teen comedy.
It's a high school soap comedy, kind of. I don't know.
And
But
So
it's
it's
about family and culture and stuff like that too.
it's super good though.
Yeah, are you talking about the newest season, Ben?
I
who
think we watched
knows?
them all. Like, yeah, don't ask me, dude. Yeah, the newest one, season one.
Yeah,
Haley
season
put it
3 came
on.
out pretty recently. That's why I was asking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then I need to rewatch it, but she put it on and I was like pissed. I'm like, I'm not watching this. And then like Davey started making these comments. I'm like, oh, she's a smart ass. Like some of the shit she says is like quirky and funny.
Yeah.
And then and episode 2 rolls along. I'm enjoying myself. Episode 3, I'm fucking staying up for this shit and I'm not turning it off. And it was awesome.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah. I love that.
Ben, you and I were like fanboy supremes of Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
If Breaking Bad is Dookie, what album is Better Call Saul now that you've seen the whole thing?
Oh man. That's hard to compare because like Green Day made more than 2 albums. It's
Yeah.
super
Does it have to
good.
be a Green Day album?
No, I just was speaking in Ben. You can
Yeah,
use
right.
it.
I haven't listened to any other album besides the Green Day album.
Okay, so aside from Green Day, let's say Breaking Bad is The Dark Knight. What Batman movie is Better Call
Damn.
Saul?
I don't know, man. It's very, very hard to compare. It's more of a drama than Breaking Bad is. It's less of a thriller. It starts becoming less about Saul and more about like Gustavo Fring almost in the later seasons. Fuck, dude. Breaking Bad's better though.
Yeah. I mean, I've just heard so many people say that Better Call Saul is like one of the best TV shows ever. And I'm like, I watched the first season and it just didn't do much for me. I never thought Saul was that compelling of a character on Breaking Bad. I don't know what it is.
He's a little cheesy at times, honestly, and I think the same thing. But then the more I watch it, the more I realize Bob Odenkirk's just playing his part. I don't know, man. I get what you're saying because I think the first season or 2 is like very boring.
Yeah.
Sure, it's slow paced, but if you're invested in the Breaking Bad universe, then it's a very well written show.
Yeah. Has Westworld redeemed itself with you, Max?
It's complicated. Like, you know.
All right. That
Like,
should be the
I
log line for Westworld. It's complicated.
I know, man. It's so tough because I feel like I was saying I was doing a lot of Westworld is back, baby. I know I said that
Yeah.
like a lot. Not
We
just
got
you
it.
guys, but to my other friends and my parents. Everyone's heard me say that.
My parents.
Yeah.
It's on the record.
Yeah. I said Westworld is back, baby. And I don't know. It's like hard when by the end of the season you don't know if Westworld is still back, baby. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But good news is Westeros is back, baby.
I thought that might be your
Dude, is that true?
Dude,
What?
House of the Dragon episode 1 was pretty tight. Yeah, I was into it. That armor and shit looked really good. The dragons looked good. There's a jousting tournament that was like even better than Ridley Scott's thing that he did.
So that's what fucking Haley was watching earlier. She brought up a Game of Thrones sequel, and I walked in. I said, "Are you watching A Knight's Tale?" And she said,
Yeah,
"Yeah,
I
I'm
know.
watching A Knight's
I know.
Tale."
I think of A Knight's Tale when I think of the jousting too. When I think of jousting, I think of that movie. But
God,
now I'm gonna
fucking
think
lied
of
to me,
House of the
dude.
Dragon because it was good. It was really good. I don't think you need to watch Game of Thrones to watch it. If you guys haven't, like you could
No,
probably
I watched,
check it out anyway.
I fucking watched Game of Thrones and I loved it.
Oh, okay.
You guys said
You got
earlier
some
something
more.
about them scrapping a GOT project to do House of Dragons, but isn't this like the same thing?
I think
Well-
there were two competing concepts, and they
Can you
filmed.
explain the first one to me? I didn't hear about it.
They haven't released it. Like they filmed it, spent a bunch of money. Naomi Watts from The Ring was in it, and I think they spent like $30 million filming this. And they're just like, yeah, we don't really like the direction.
Oh, so it's supposed to be like an obvious prequel, not the same universe.
Yeah, it was fully.
Mm.
I want to say the White Walkers were in it. I'm not versed in Game of Thrones very well. I've never
It
watched
should
it.
be dead, if that's the case.
I
No,
also
not a
checked
sequel, a
out-
prequel. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say I also checked out She-Hulk.
Tell us about She-Hulk.
I mean, you guys have probably heard everyone like dogging on the CG and stuff, right? Or maybe even saw it yourselves and thought it didn't look that good. Because I thought the same thing in the trailers, but like it actually looks pretty darn good. And like part of that is, having to be like, okay, I've been reading these articles about how bad Marvel treats all these effects people,
Yeah.
and we got to give them a break. And also just think about like the fact that a fully animated character is like in a TV show and it looks that good.
Yeah.
That's just we're spoiled at this point. We're completely spoiled to like be criticizing that stuff. She looks too smooth. She's
Right.
fine.
Bro,
She looks great.
she looks like an Alyssa Milano. Is that her name? Like doppelganger.
Tatiana Maslany is
Yeah.
the actor. But I mean, like the Marvel shows, I'm always skeptical of, and usually by the end of them, I'm like, okay, I guess. So, but somehow I keep watching them. I think it's because it's not the Star Wars thing where it like truly upsets me because I didn't grow up with Marvel. You know, I'm just along for the ride, and like even if this fucking thing crashes and burns, like I'm gonna watch that part too.
Yeah, I guess since we broached the subject of Marvel, did you guys see any of the announcements at Comic-Con as far as Phase 4, 5, and 6?
No.
Mm-mm.
So Phase 4 of the MCU is ending with Black Panther 2 in November, so it's already wrapping. Phase 5 will kick off with Ant-Man 3 next year. We'll have Secret Invasion, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Loki Season 2, The Marvels, Blade, Daredevil with Charlie Cox returning,
I'm stoked on that.
Oh wow.
Captain America 4, and the Thunderbolts. Apparently, this is all leading up to
Huh.
Kang being the new villain of like Thanos with the
Right,
Kang
right.
Dynasty and Secret Wars.
Did you say Tang?
Kang with a K.
Kang the Conqueror.
Yeah.
That fucking
Apparently,
okay.
he was in Loki, but I've not seen any of the Marvel
Yeah.
shows, so I'm so far behind.
Yeah, I've seen those, so I kind of knew some of that stuff was coming. But there's just so much to keep track of now, and I'm like, we're already through another phase of this stuff. Like, I don't even really know what those mean.
It seems soon, yeah. But yeah, the only other thing I noticed from Marvel's whole reveal was that there's no X-Men or Deadpool on the slate or Spider-Man.
Mhm.
Allegedly, they have some contractual obligation to Fox to renew the old X-Men actors that doesn't expire till like 2025. So we're not getting any X-Men. But
Dang.
Out of all those, what would you rather see be kept alive?
Spider-Man, Deadpool, or X-Men?
Yep.
I mean, I like the X-Men. I just don't know. I think we talked about this previously. I feel like it translates better to a television series because of the characters and like developing all of their individual stories. Like it's hard to get all of them into a movie. And
Yeah.
as much as I like everything they've done with it, I think obviously you have to recast if you're going to if you're going to integrate them into the MCU. But this whole thing with the multiverse kind of makes me feel like they're just going to pick and choose what parts they want to carry over, like Ryan
That's
Reynolds.
what they've done so far.
Yeah, so Charlie Cox will get to stay and Ryan Reynolds will
Yeah.
stay Deadpool, but we may get a new Wolverine. We may keep Patrick Stewart. I don't know. I'm not liking where this is headed. So
Did you guys see that Giancarlo Esposito wants to play Professor X?
I don't. That's a good choice though. I like that.
Is it?
I think so.
I mean, I'd love to see him do
Oh
anything else
my
but play
God.
Gus in every show he's ever been in. So
Yeah.
I'd love to see you do something else.
Do you think with like how lukewarm the reception has been to the latest Marvel stuff that we're kind of like nearing the end of the shared universe trend, especially with like DC and upheaval currently?
Yeah, I think we are. I have been wondering if Marvel will pull back on it a little bit because I
Yeah.
think if I'm feeling fatigued from it, I can't imagine what general audiences are feeling. And I don't know what movie out of this last batch is like. I guess people love that Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, I'd say
But,
No Way
like,
Home's probably the
Yeah.
big achievement, but everything else
Right.
has been kind of mediocre at best.
And probably like confusing or like frustrating at worst, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you had trouble with Doctor Strange even just from not watching WandaVision, right?
Yeah, I was surprised because I didn't think it was going to lean on the TV stuff that much, or I wouldn't be behind if I
know.
didn't watch it. And like,
Mhm.
yeah, it was pretty quick to jump into that. And I don't know. I think there's a relatability there with, I would think, with general audiences, but also with me, kind of like when we were talking about why Batman works so well, it's because there are these relatable stakes. And like when time and space aren't even a factor
Yeah.
anymore, like,
Yeah, and when you watch like 5 different Doctor Stranges die in his movie, and it's like, oh, but mine's still there. It's like, what
Yeah.
does that even mean?
Yeah.
I think they thought the multiverse was going to be this like solution for all their sloppiness.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it is.
It seems like a very cop out way to like try and pull all their favorite things in, which I kind of
Mhm.
felt that way about the time travel resolution in Endgame, where I was like, this feels really lazy to just
Mm.
like pretend something bad could happen, but we're just gonna erase all that real quick.
You know what I was thinking about with that movie the other day? What if Hulk had just wished for no Thanos? What if
Yeah.
he was just like, I wish Thanos never existed? Boom. Then you got all the people back and you got your Tony Stark. I think I
Right?
just fixed it all. I don't know why I was
See.
thinking about that.
5 minutes left.
All right.
All right, we should wrap.
You should
All
check
right.
out Never Have I Ever, Ryan.
I will. All right. And farewell to Max. He's going to college in Chicago. We'll see him
That's
eventually once we get the schedule sorted out, maybe. And if we can figure out how to Zoom each other. But until then.
Goodbye.
Peace, guys.